Patreon.com/the Walkoff Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there.
All right. Good Monday morning. MLB Monday goodness. Patreon exclusive content. This is a new show we're doing. Scott is away today. He's actually on the road driving back from the Okanagan, a couple comedy shows out there. So for the inaugural MLB Monday mornings, you've got just me. Just me. So sad. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who does support the show on Patreon. We appreciate your shekels, your rupees, whatever you're spending your good hard earned coffee money on us with. We appreciate it. So help us keep the lights on. This is, I guess, the first scary step of many towards building a attempted Patreon community here. I think we're pushing around 50 in the Patreon right now. So appreciate all of you. A few things to go over before we get into today's show. Big guest announcement. I want to just rip this band-aid right off. Mark Shapiro. Maybe you've heard of him. What is even his role with the Blue Jays? Is he the not CEO? Is he the general manager? Is that Ross Hatkins? President of operations? Anyways, Mark Shapiro, you know who he is. The dumb from Moneyball. No, I'm just kidding. We are going to ask him that, his thoughts on how he was portrayed in the movie Moneyball. So that'll be fun. We get about a half an hour with him towards the end of the month. So I guess comments, questions are open. We are taking your feedback now. So by the time you see this, drop a comment on this post or whatever. Send us a DM. We're not going to have time for too many fan listener questions, but we're definitely going to get to at least 2 or 3. So get your submissions in. Scott and I will weed through and find the ones we like the most. But it is going to be a Patreon exclusive opportunity there. So if you're a Patreon member and you want to get your comments in for Mark Shapiro, this is the only place to do it. So that's a pretty cool announcement. I think it's May 16th, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, so that's our big announcement. We kind of teased it on Long Toss last night. Yeah, Mark Shapiro coming up in a couple weeks. If you are on the Patreon, which you must be if you're seeing this, unless I felt generous and decided to put out this episode as some bonus content. Yeah, get your comments and questions in for Mark Shapiro. Shapiro? Let me know. How do you say it? You know what? Don't let me know because that's not going to be helpful anyways. When I'm just reading it, you're just going to spell his name. It's going to make zero difference to me. Okay. A few other housekeeping things to get to. If you're wondering what happened with trivia night this week or this past week, I just totally dropped the ball. So trivia night is supposed to be the last Tuesday of every month. We do baseball movie trivias. Didn't do one in April. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we did in March, and we're going to double it up in May. So at some point this week, I'll get a poll out, and we'll vote on which 2 movies we want to cover for this month's trivia night. End of May is when we'll be doing that. So there will be prizes to give away. Of course, the season totals will keep on trucking along. I think Ian is in first place right now. Wyatt had a good outing in March with a double episode. I think he won both episodes. So I think Wyatt's in second place. But anyways, trivia night, a lot of fun, really low stakes. Basically just hop on a Zoom call with me. You don't even have to have your webcam on. Don't even have to have your microphone on if you don't want. It's fun because we can kind of joke back and forth. I spend a lot of time writing these questions. I entertain myself with not only the questions, but the answers half the time. So appreciate anybody that does come out. That is for free if you are paying for Patreon. So there you go. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Multiple choice questions. There's a good mix of some easy ones, some more obscure, weird ones. So come on out. It's like an hour. Hop on Zoom with us and have some fun. Take your chance, win a prize. Okay. I guess last thing I want to announce here. Again, we mentioned it yesterday on Long Toss. Scott and I are going to be doing a weekly, maybe bi-weekly. We'll see how much response we get over it, but another Patreon exclusive piece of content. You know those Dear Abby articles in the newspaper where it's like, Dear Abby, my wife is cheating on me with my dad. What do I do? How do I kill her without getting caught? Um, no. Anyways, those kind of articles, Scott and I are going to dabble in dilemmas. So get whether you want to complain about your wife, your ex-wife, your ex-husband, your father-in-law, your boss, your neighbor across the street, who walks their dog and lets it poop all over your front lawn. Whatever your gripe is, get your gripes in. That's the tag we're going to throw on that, I think. Get your gripes in now. So get your gripes in. Scott and I are going to just riff as comedians. Hopefully that turns out to be right in our wheelhouse. Kind of like crowd work. If you ever go to a stand-up comedy show, if you haven't, by the way, you should. I understand sometimes that's tough if you live in a small town, but if you ever make your way into the big city, big bright lights, uh, head on out to a stand-up comedy show, even if it's just like an open mic night. Uh, Good train wrecks are still fun to watch. Anyways, crowd work for the uninitiated is when a comedian abandons their predetermined material for the night and is just bouncing ideas back and forth with the crowd. Maybe they're asking someone, "Hey, what do you do for work?" "I'm a plumber." "Oh, plumber. Hey, what a crappy job." But I don't know. It's hard to riff when there's no audience and I'm just standing here with my webcam on. So don't judge me for that. Anyways, Dear Walkoff. I don't know. I kind of want to put it on Wednesdays because Dear Walkoff Wednesdays just kind of has a good ring to it. But maybe Dear Walkoff Wednesdays every Thursday is more our style. We'll see. Anyways, Dear Abby, get your gripes in. We'll change your names, so we're not gonna say hey, such and such in this city complaining about his wife, and then his wife listens to it, and now he's in trouble. So get your gripes in. We'll change your names. We'll change your cities. And Scott and I are going to give uncensored and unqualified, or uncensored and unlicensed, I don't know the better way to put it, life advice. So we'll tell you how to navigate those frustrations you're dealing with. Maybe your husband just spent $600 on a taco looking baseball glove and you're upset with them. Maybe your wife just spent $3,000 on a king size bed and you're mad at her. We'll help you get revenge. We'll help you navigate those murky waters of frustration that everybody encounters. And then everybody as a community is going to get to share in the satisfaction of hearing the misery that you're suffering through. So there it is. Dear Abby style dilemmas. Scott and I be helping you out as best we can. Okay. That's it for the housekeeping today. We do have I have no intro music for this. I need an intro song. I need some sort of a transition here as we pivot into MLB Monday mornings. But let me just do the quick rundown for today. Here's the things we're going to cover today. We got MLB Power Rankings. We got Bryce Harper going to first base. Injury for Aaron Judge. Anthony Bass popcorn gate, I guess. There's been a development, so we'll get to that. We're going to look at the standings from around the league. Some stat leaders, because that's always interesting. Price drop for MLB.TV, so that's interesting. And then we're going to look at the Tampa Bay Rays and whether or not they're overrated. So we'll end on that. Okay. Let's start with MLB Power Rankings. So this is look, you're going to find different MLB Power Rankings on ESPN, on CBS. on Bleacher Report, on Barstool, like whatever. I don't want to argue over the reference point that I'm using. I'm just going with MLB.com. Okay. I know it's not like an official power rankings are just BS. They're made up as war, but let's get to it anyways. So this week's rankings, we've got biggest jump. The Phillies jumped 6 spots from 21 to 15. Ugh, who cares about that? I don't even think this should count if it's a biggest jump and you're still in the like basically bottom half of the league. I'm not really counting that. Biggest drop. Things are never calm in the Bronx. Ooh, I like reading this. They certainly aren't after a week in which the Yankees went 2-5, including losing 3 out of 4 to the Rangers and could potentially lose Aaron Judge with a hip strain to the injured list. Spoiler alert, not going to the injured list as of yet. We'll touch on that when we get to him in a few minutes. So they fell from 5th to 12th, just in time to face 2022 playoff teams, the Guardians at home and the face meltingly hot Rays at the Trop. Well, again, I think the Rays are a little overrated too. They are hot, and playing in the Trop is always hard for the road team. So Yankees are not in. They should do fine against the Guardians, but Yankees Rays in the Trop. But you know what? If nothing else, they're beating up on each other, so that's always good for us Jays fans. Okay, power rankings top 5. We got the Rays 23-6. Your number 1 spot. Last week they were number 1. You know what? I should have done this in reverse order. I really should have. Started at 5 and worked my way up, but that's for next week. Lessons learned, right? How's everybody feeling on the Rays? I'm not sold on the Rays. I was looking at the MLB stat. You know what? Should we save this? Let's save this. I'm getting ahead of myself. I know Rays being overrated is a topic, so we'll get to that at the end of the show. And at the number 2 spot, we got the Atlanta Braves, also in the number 2 spot last week, power rankings. Braves had a brutal loss that you could had as brutal of a loss as you could possibly fathom this week, giving up 5 runs to the Marlins in the top of the 9th to lose 5-4. Ooh, that is a bad one. Being up 4-0 going into the 9th and then blowing it. I would still say that the Blue Jays choke to the Mariners in the playoffs was worse last year. You know what's funny? As a Jays fan, I've gotten 2 of the most extreme games for playoff outcomes. The Jose Bautista bat flip game, absolutely wild victory that we did come out on the right side of. And then, yeah, last year's, what was it, a 7-0 lead or an 8-0 lead that we blew? Oh, just polar opposites. In the number 3 spot, we got the 18-10 Blue Jays, who were up 4 spots from last week's number 7. 5-1 this past week, as you're probably aware. The one loss coming to, it was a tough game on Sunday. Was Chris Bassett had an ugly first inning. Blame it on the umps if you want. He blamed it on the iPad, it seemed like, as he beat the heck out of that thing in the dugout. Blue Jays rallied though, put some run support behind him, took the lead. We were up 8-4 at one point in the game and ended up losing 10-8. So just a tough game back and forth, but that's the entertainment of baseball, right? That's why you watch. So Blue Jays are now on a 9-game road trip, which includes the Boston Red Sox, the face meltingly hot Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Philadelphia Phillies. So, the Phillies went to the World Series last year. They are not the same team that they are now. They are getting Bryce Harper back, which we're going to touch on after this. So by the time the Blue Jays play the Phillies, they will be arguably better than they are right now by adding Bryce Harper. So that's something to consider. The Red Sox, honestly, I think are a better team than we're giving them credit for. And I really wouldn't be surprised if they are still kind of in the thick of it come early September. Pittsburgh Pirates, look, hats off to the Pirates. They just locked up Brian Reynolds on a long-term deal, which kind of surprised everybody after all the trade talk around him this offseason. Are the Pirates for real? I don't think so still. I mean, what do the standings say? Pittsburgh Pirates are now as of today. Hold on. We've just lost our whole mind. I had last year's standings pulled up because I know well, let's just get it out of the way here. The Tampa Bay Rays, who are obviously having what is going on with my computer right now? MLB.com standings. Okay, Rays, great start, 23-6. That's a 793 win percentage. I mean, I could do the quick math, I suppose. 0.793 times 162 gets you 128 wins on the season, which is absurd. And just wanted to remind everybody, and this is why I'm struggling with the stats pulled up right now, is because I do have the standings from mid-May of 2023 where the Yankees were 28-9. So Yankees had a 757 winning percentage, which put them on pace for 122 wins. So again, it was early, obviously not sustainable. Yankees finished the season with 99 wins. So just because the Rays are on a bit of a tear right now does not mean that they are going to win 122 games and the Blue Jays have no chance of winning the division or anything like this. So that is where I stand on the Rays. Now, as far as the Pirates go, Pirates are 20-19. So I guess that's good for second place in Major League Baseball. It is the Rays and it is the Pirates as the two only teams with 20 wins. So impressive. Nothing I can argue with there. However, I mean, there are lots of ways to get to 20 wins in 30 games at any point in a losing season. And is that a hot take I'm ready to say yet? Pittsburgh Pirates going to finish the season below 500? Dare I say it? How'd they finish last year? The Pirates, 62 and 100 was their record. They won 62 games last year. So for the Pirates to finish the season over 500, they would have to go, 81 and 81? It's 500. They'd have to go 83, 81 to be over 500, which means a 21 victory improvement from last year. 21 victory improvement. Bringing in Andrew McCutchen equate to an extra 21 wins. I know that's an oversimplification. I'm being silly here, guys. Yeah, I'm going to think on this. I'm going to bring it back to next week. Next week, Monday morning MLB. I don't know the actual name of the show yet. But next week, we're going to revisit this, and I'm going to give you my actual thoughts. Are the Pittsburgh Pirates? You know what? I want to just go and be bold. Pittsburgh Pirates, the end of this season, are not a 500 team. They are below 500 team. Wait and see. If you're a David Samson, nothing personal fan, you know what I'm talking about. Wait and see. Pittsburgh Pirates, despite being 20-9 right now, finish the season below 500. There you go. All right, that's it for the power rankings. No, we got the Brewers 18 and 10. We got the Orioles in the top 5. Look at this. MLB Power Rankings, 3 AL East teams in the top 5. Wow, just crazy. All right, let's move on from the power rankings. We've got a imminent Bryce Harper return. Remarkably quick rehab. The transition to first base, pretty spectacular for Bryce Harper, who's been in right field almost every game of his career. Tommy John surgery on the elbow. He ain't throwing anytime soon, but he could play first. I mean, here's my thoughts on this. Bryce Harper, notably the captain of my all face punch team year after year, generally haven't liked the guy. He's grown on me in the past, I would say, 2 seasons. I don't know if he's matured or if I've matured. Can't be that one. He's starting to be likable. And I think this move to first base is really cool. Part of me, like the hater in me, wants to say that this is arrogance on his part to think that he can even just make the transition to first base. The first base is just kind of an afterthought of a position. I mean, we saw it with Vladdy and his transition from third to first. Like it is, there's going to be growing pains. So I do wonder if this is just a 1-year stint. Rhys Hoskins done for the year in Philly, their first baseman. But he's also at the end of his contract. So does he leave in free agency? Does Bryce Harper just become the everyday full-time first baseman? That's kind of what I'd like to see, honestly. He's older. I think he's been in Major League Baseball for like a decade already. Although I think he's only like 30 years old. Look, it's pretty cool. Looks like he is projected to return on Tuesday. So Philadelphia Phillies schedule. Who are they playing by Tuesday? I know they're playing the Blue Jays at some point. It's like Monday against the Dodgers, Tuesday against the Dodgers, Wednesday against the Dodgers, then Boston, then Toronto. So 2 games against the Blue Jays. Blue Jays, we're going to see Bryce Harper at first base. It'll be pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, I guess let me know. Comment on this video wherever you're seeing it. Hopefully you're supporting us on Patreon, and if you are, appreciate it. Bryce Harper to first base. Is this a 1-year trial or is this a forever move? I don't know. We'll see. I like it though. I do like it. Okay, from one injury to the next, let's talk Aaron Judge, mild right hip strain. Look, obviously Aaron Judge just got a mega payday. The SPO track on this, just so I'm not talking completely out of my butt here. 9 years, $360 million. Look, is it an overpay? Absolutely. Was it necessary? Yes, even more so. The Yankees could not afford to let him walk. I mean, reports are he received bigger total money deals from other clubs and opted to return to New York. So kudos to Aaron Judge for giving the Yankees a hometown discount, which is crazy to say at 360 million, but the injuries, man, they're back for Aaron Judge. Actually, if we look at his, why am I putting a second R in his name? Aaron Judge, I believe Spotrac has an injury history. Yeah, it does. Okay, 2016, oblique, missed 19 games. That's okay. Wrist injury in 2018 cost him 50 games. 2019, the oblique flared up again, 62 games. 2020, the COVID season, the calf injury cost him 34 games that season. It was two separate incidents, 14 days from August 12th to 25th. He came back, and then 3 days later went back to the IL, missed 20 more games. Which, if you guys remember, 60-game season, missing 34 games, that's a big deal. And then last season, no, not last season, 2021, he missed 12 days with a positive COVID-19 test. So there's the injury history on Aaron Judge. It's not as bad as I feel like it is in my head, but it's overpaid, and good for him for being so. Uh, had a weird incident. I don't know if it was earlier this week or last week, but slid into third base. I think it was a stolen base attempt and kind of jammed his wrist, kind of, when they're sliding head first, but it's too much friction and the wrist gets rolled underneath. I'm acting it out, but you're only listening to this on audio form. So ignore the acting that I'm doing here. It's phenomenal, by the way. It is the best acting. I have some of the best acting. Okay, terrible Donald Trump impression, but there we go. Aaron Judge kind of jammed his wrist. It was weird. Nothing serious came out of it. Now, MRI for a right hip injury. So we'll have to wait and see. I think he's already starting to miss days for it, but look, it's probably going to be a short IL stint, like 10-day IL. If that's the case, his stay would be retroactive to the first game he missed, which was Friday, and would make him eligible for return on May 8th. So if that's the case, it's going to force him to miss the 3-game series in Tampa Bay. I mean, read into that what you will. It's going to be tough for the Yankees to beat the Rays at full strength. But without Aaron Judge, it's just going to be that much tougher. I believe, I should just look this up before I even say this. Carlos Stanton. He's injured right now, too. Hasn't played since April 15th. Expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. This is what kind of an injury is this? Hamstring strain. Hamstring strain. What is Giancarlo Stanton's injury history? Because this is another guy. Big slugger. In my head, it's a big injury history. It's a 13-year, $325 million contract for him. He's going to be 34 by year's end. His injury history looks like this. Ooh, a little bit more paint on the field here. 400 total days missed. Hand injury cost him 101. Groin injury cost him 24. Biceps cost him 79. Knee injury cost him 85. Hamstring cost him 38. This is all 2020 through 2015. Since 2021, he missed 15 games with a quad injury. Also in 2022, 2021, he only missed 15 games with a quad injury. Last season, he missed 11 games with an ankle injury and 31 with an Achilles injury. And now this season so far, he's missed 16 games. So no Stanton, no Judge for the trip to the Trop. They're in trouble there. Aaron Judge, look, he can still swing the ball, but he's a big boy, and it's hard for the big boys to stay healthy. The body is not designed to be that big. So, you remember Yao Ming? How tall was he? Basketball player. 2.29 meters. That helps nobody, Google. Why does Google give me height in the metric system? Google should know that Canada is metric except for height and weight. It is not helpful to know how many kilograms any athlete weighs. now I got to do a metric conversion. 7'6" for Yao Ming. Um, First overall pick in 2022 in 2002. Um, Injury shortened his career. I mean, it's just the body's not designed to be that big. Okay, enough time spent on Aaron Judge. Like this is a weird one. This is the Anthony Bass topic. And I know Scott and I kind of poked fun at it when it first happened too. Since then, I kind of feel like I regret saying the things I said. Um, Not because my opinions on him or the incident have changed. I just regret saying it because, look, he is a Blue Jay and he's struggling right now. This is just, I feel like a Yankees fan when I'm ragging on Anthony Bass for stuff that's happening off the field. Now, is this a little bit of a self inflicted gunshot wound? Yeah, you bet it is. But I think the trolling kind of needs to stop. Um, as of yesterday, Anthony Bass has deleted his Twitter account. So, for anybody that isn't familiar with this story at this point, basically, Anthony Bass tweeted out an incident that his wife and I guess pregnant wife and two kids experienced um, on a flight. I don't know if it was from Toronto or just whatever. It was a flight. Um, there was a spilled popsicle. There was a spilled popcorn incident. The flight attendants made his wife clean up the popcorn. And he was annoyed because, I mean, it is kind of a controversial thing because whose responsibility is it to clean up after kids, right? Like if you go to a supermarket and your kids like knock a thing of orange juice off the shelf and it explodes, the whole supermarket hears, clean up on aisle 3, and someone who works there comes and cleans it up. They're not telling the mother or the father or whoever to get down on their hands and knees or to head into the back. Well, go grab the muppet and the muppet in the box, the bucket and the mop, and to clean that stuff up yourself. So, I mean, it is kind of a weird area. Like, I guess I don't really know what protocol is on airplanes as far as cleaning up after your own kids. It's weird. It was, I mean, obviously a tweet that he regrets posting at this point. Um, he's having a rough season. I don't think deleting his Twitter account is a good sign for his time in Toronto. Like the Yankees and Yankees fans and the way they treated Joey Gallo off the field was horrendous last year, right? Was he struggling on the field? Yeah, absolutely. But to heckle him in person, and I know that Twitter isn't in person, but it's it's close. Like I guess where I fall on this is if Anthony Bass is gonna lose his job, I want it to be because he struggled on the field, not because Blue Jays fans were total jerks and got in his head. Like if Yankees fans want to troll Anthony Bass or what's the Blue Jays upcoming schedule here? I think we're going to Boston, right? Yeah, we're in Fenway. So, like honestly, if the Boston Red Sox fans want to get creative and have giant popcorn signs or something and they want to heckle Anthony Bass with it, like, yeah, fair game. I love it. Bring it on. But we should not be trying ourselves to destroy our own player. And that kind of feels like that's where we're at now. I didn't think it was going to go this far when Scott and I weighed in on it because, yeah, we were hard on him too. But like, I do think we should stop. I don't think it's helping him. if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's whatever we do get from Anthony Bass, we want it to be as good as possible, right? Like he is really struggling. I don't want to say the loss to the Mariners was entirely Anthony Bass's fault. For sure it wasn't. It's a team effort, right? But he did contribute. And I just think that Popcorn Gate, whatever you want to call it, is significantly contributing at this point. Like every time he's taken the ball, he knows what his stats are, right? He knows what his ERA is 7, his whip is 1.77. Like the numbers for Anthony Bass are not good this year. So he knows it and he knows he's going to hear about it. I do think that deleting his Twitter account is a sign of like he's struggling with it. You know, I don't think you just delete your social media because you're bored one day. You know, it's he's sick of getting the tweets and the mentions and the tags and everything, right? So I guess tip of the cap to Anthony Bass for trying. Like it worries me that this is necessary, but if it is necessary, I'm glad he's doing it. Um, yeah, I'm not the biggest Anthony Bass believer. I do think he is on the hot seat right now. I do think the Blue Jays have bullpen decisions to be made. Adam Simber on the IL right now. He'll be back. Mitch White rehabbing right now. He'll be back soon. Nate Pearson already has the bonus job in the bullpen. If he continues to pitch good enough, better than Anthony Bass, like Bass is, there's pressure on him right now. 1 year left on his contract. So I just don't want Blue Jays fans to be the reason or be even a contributing factor to the downfall in Anthony Bass. If he doesn't have it, got it. Like let's move on. But it's a little heartbreaking and a little cringy, to be honest, that part of his downfall could be related to treatment from his own fans, and that's pretty shitty, if I'm being honest. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Send me a DM. Let me know if I'm way off base here, but I think like, can we just leave the guy alone at this point? Like he made a tweet, it was controversial. If he wasn't also struggling on the field, I don't think that this would even be a continued story. But because he is struggling, because he is contributing to Blue Jays blowing games, it's an easy way to pick on a guy that you're frustrated with because he's not performing on the field. And I get it, but we should be, as Blue Jays fans, trying to lift our guys up, not pushing them down, not kicking them while they're down. That's just my opinion. Can we just go easy on Anthony Bass for the off-field stuff? If you want to like complain, like boo him if you want. If he's struggling and he's on the field and he's imploding, boo him as he's leaving the game, as he's handing the ball to John Schneider. Boo him, sure. Boo him all you want, okay? But when he's getting the ball, don't boo him on his way in. I'm not saying people are booing him on his way in. This is a metaphorical explanation, but if he's coming into the game, I mean, it's fine to have your butthole pucker. It's fine to start stressing. Like I'm in the same boat, but I don't wish failure on him while he's on the mound. And between starts, between appearances, harass maybe is too strong of a word. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But harassing him on social media, it's the equivalent of booing him as he's entering the game, like just in terms of an impact on his mental state. We need a guy who feels confident and is going out there the best possible state of mind to succeed. And if he still can't succeed, then yeah, DFA him. Let's get him out of here. Send him down for a phantom rehab stint, whatever. It is what it is. But let him fail on his own accord, and then we can boo him on his way out of town. But for now, let's just chill, I think. Um, yeah, that's where I stand on the whole Anthony Bass saga. Okay, looking around the league, we've got Arizona Diamondbacks looking good in the NL West. I do still think that that is a tough division for them to hold on to. The Dodgers at 16 and 13. That is a Dodgers team that is, I mean, let's be honest, primed to win the division. Padres look good. If the Diamondbacks finish third, they could be in a playoff spot still. The NL's honestly like got a bunch of pretty good teams this year. The Mets, they're going to be good. I know they've got their pitching injury struggles and stuff like that. Braves are great. Miami, 16 and 13 right now from the Marlins. I don't know if that's for real or not. The Phillies, I mean, they went to the World Series last year. They're getting Bryce Harper back soon. They're already 15 and 14. This is an above 500 club. The Pirates, overachieving in my opinion. Brewers, 18 and 10. I mean, I think the Brewers are going to win that division by year's end. Cardinals, what has happened to the Cardinals? 10 and 19 to start the season. I didn't see that coming. West, we got the Diamondbacks, Dodgers, the Padres. All three of those teams are going to be in contention right to the end of the year, I think. Giants, probably not. Rockies, for sure not. NL, man, they got some good teams over there. AL, got a handful of good teams. Rays, Orioles, Blue Jays. Look, looking at the standings right now, Yankees dead last in the AL East, 15 and 14, tied with the Red Sox. Red Sox, I guess, have the tiebreaker on run differential. Love to see it. I'm telling you, Red Sox might be pesky by year's end. I think we underestimated them. AL Central is a ghost town. Only has the Minnesota Twins to be proud of. And even then, I mean, when they're playing the Tigers, the White Sox, the Royals, the Guardians, as much as they are, of course, their record's going to be good, right? AL West, got the Texas Rangers, who just took 3 of 4 against the Yankees. Houston Astros, defending World Series champs. That's a good team. The Angels, 15 and 14. I think they're going to hang around like by August. I think we're going to be approaching the trade deadline, and we're going to be like, are they really going to trade Shohei Ohtani in the middle of a potential playoff run? Like, this is a team that could be 10 games above 500 in August. And we're going, are they really going to trade away Shohei Ohtani when they are holding on to at the moment a wild card spot? It's crazy. It's crazy. Seattle, 12 and 16. They're better than their record states, but they've also lost Robbie Ray for the season. I don't think Seattle's a playoff team this year. I guess my playoff teams probably look like this. Minnesota going to get in from the AL Central. AL East, probably, Rays, Blue Jays. I'll commit to those two. In the AL West, Houston for sure. Probably Texas. So that's what, 5? Now we're talking about Baltimore, Boston, Yankees, Angels fighting it out for that last playoff spot. It's going to be a good September. Okay, let's have a look at MLB stats. Let's take a look at our home run leaders because that's always the most exciting stat number to look at. Max Muncy has 11 home runs through 25 games. That's a big number. It is a 71 home run pace Max Muncy is on. Pete Alonso, 10 home runs. Rafael Devers, 10 home runs. Big reason the Red Sox are where they are on the back of Rafael Devers' hot start to the season. Patrick Wisdom, smart guy out in Chicago, 10 home runs. Okay, that was a bad joke. I don't deserve the laugh. Thank you. Brent Rooker, 9 home runs for Oakland. DH. Brent Rooker. Why have I never heard of this guy before? 28 years old. Career numbers. 19 career home runs. 9 of them have come this year. Okay. Brent Rooker. Well, that'll be the next guy the Oakland A's trade. So that's exciting. If you're a team in need of a DH, Oakland has one. Yeah, that's it for home runs. What's the stolen bases? Because stolen bases are up. Ronald Acuna Jr. with 13 stolen bases. That surprises me. Ronald Acuna Jr. has a little bit of an injury history developing there on his career resume as well. So, like, he's a fast guy. Clearly, he's got the skill set to do it. But if I'm the Braves, how bad do I want him in the lineup for 160 games with 20 stolen bases on the year rather than 100 games because he missed 60 to mess his hand sliding into second? I don't know. It's crazy to me to see superstars at the top of the stolen base list. Yeah, that's a young man's game. It's not for guys that you've given contracts to. Once you've given them the big contract, all the time they miss starts to get a lot more expensive. So Ronald Acuna Jr. leading baseball, 13 stolen bases. That really surprises me. Let's have a look at pitchers. Garrett Cole, Sonny Gray leading the way for ERA. Where does Shohei Ohtani, 6th? Let's just go by American League first. Shohei Ohtani, 4th in the American League with a 1.85 ERA and a whip 0.82. Not bad. Kevin Gossman, 7th in the American League, 2.33 ERA and a whip of 101. Other than that one really ugly first inning where he allowed 7 runs, Kevin Gossman has been chef's kiss for us this year. Yeah, nobody else. Jose Barrios, 25th. Is he our? Hold on. Wait a second. Does Jose Barrios hold the second best ERA? Our starting pitchers? He does. Oh my goodness. What? All players. Let's go. ERA. Nate Pearson, best ERA on the team. 0 through 1 game. DeMeza, bullpen. Eric Swanson, bullpen. Kevin Gossman. Okay, so for starting pitchers, Kevin Gossman sitting at a 2.33. Oh, Yusei Kikuchi at a 3.0. Yusei Kikuchi, second best ERA on the team. And then, yeah, Jose Barrios in 3rd place with a 4.71 ERA. Alek Manoah, 4.88 ERA. And Chris Bassett, 5.18. Of course, the rough start yesterday for Chris Bassett. But hey, we did kind of call it. We said this is who he is. He's going to give you 3 or 4, maybe 5 really good games, and then 1 really bad game. And that's where he finds his career average around 3.5 to 4 for an ERA. It's not consistently 3. It's consistently under 1, and then he has a game where it's over 5. So Chris Bassett's going to be fine. I'm not worried about him at all. Okay. On to the next. We've got MLB TV price drop. So pounce on this. Yearly subscription usually goes for $139.99, but as we're a month into the season now, single team subscription $119.99. I don't know. I might hop on this. I've got my Sportsnet Now subscription. I'm frustrated by the Sportsnet app. Every time I stream, I always lag behind. It's hard to watch. When we do our live streams here, watch parties, we had a lot of fun watching the Yankees game, except that I'm watching on the Sportsnet app, my Apple TV, and it's like every commercial break, I fall 10 seconds behind. Like, I don't even realize it because it's not like my screen is freezing or glitching or anything like that. But all of a sudden, I'm watching a 2-0 count, and I'm getting text messages, or I'm getting whoever I'm interacting with, and they're like, "Oh, do you see that?" And I'm like, "No, what happened?" And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm 5 seconds away from seeing a nice diving catch. Meanwhile, there comes the 3-0 pitch, and then there comes the 3-1 pitch, and then comes the ball in play. I'm like, how am I 3 pitches behind right now? So it's a Sportsnet Now app, very frustrating. So I might consider switching to MLB TV. There you go. Okay, we talked MLB Power Rankings. Let's end on this. Are the Tampa Bay Rays as good as everyone seems to think they are? I'm going to say no. Here's why. When I'm looking at their schedule, they've got wins against the Detroit Tigers, the Washington Nationals, the Oakland A's, the Boston Red Sox. They got 4 against them. The Blue Jays, they got 1 win against us, lost the series. Cincinnati Reds, they took 2 of 3. They swept the White Sox. They lost 2 out of 3 against the Houston Astros, and then they won 3 out of 4 against the White Sox. I was looking at this stat the other day. Now, it has kind of changed because the Red Sox are now technically over 500. So those 4 victories that the Rays have against the Red Sox do kind of change things. But other than that, I was looking at this, 2 days ago. The Rays had 22 wins, 6 losses. They only had 2 victories against teams over 500. They had 1 win against us, 1 win against the Astros. Every single other victory came from, I just read the list of teams: the Reds, the White Sox, Oakland, Detroit, Washington. Now, I know critics are going to say, well, that's what good teams do, is they beat up on the bad teams. And that's absolutely correct. And that was one thing the Blue Jays in recent history have not done. We have not beat the teams that we absolutely need to be beating. But Tampa Bay Rays are going to have games against the Yankees, against the Orioles, against us, against the Brewers, against the Dodgers, against the other good teams in the league. They're not going to just play the Tigers and the A's and the Reds all season long. So if this team had the record they had and they took 2 out of 3 against us, or they took 2 out of 3 against Houston, I'd be like, yeah, maybe this team is for real. But they're below 500 against the legitimate contenders. They're 2-4. And they're like 20 and 2 against everybody else. So, I mean, yeah, that kind of performing will get you to the playoffs, right? You've got to beat up on the bad teams. But guess what? When you get to the playoffs, there ain't no bad teams left. So, yeah, Tampa Bay Rays, I mean, kudos to the hot start. I don't think the Blue Jays would have done this if we had their schedule. I will acknowledge that. What was as we approach? Okay, well, I'm looking at the schedule predictions for April. My predictions for the Blue Jays for our schedule was, I said I wanted to go 20-8 at the end of April. Schedule, we had Cardinals, Royals, Angels, Detroit, Rays, Houston, Yankees, White Sox, Mariners. I wanted to go 20-8. We went 18-10. I mean, 20-8 was like, I thought, best case scenario. So go 18-10. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, all things considered. Tampa Bay Rays, they don't scare me. I know they're the big dog in the AL East right now, but this is probably good for the Blue Jays to not be the most hyped team in the American League East. We don't do well under that kind of pressure. There you go. Going to Fenway. Good luck in Fenway today, fellas. To everybody who just listened to me rant solo the last hour, appreciate it. Give me your feedback. This has been MLB Monday Mornings, a Patreon exclusive. I may have decided to have put this out for everybody as a free teaser, as a free sample. So if I was feeling generous and I did put this on iTunes, on Spotify, maybe even on the YouTube channels, and you found it, enjoy. And please consider supporting the Patreon. It's just $4 a month. But Scott and I, let's be honest, are not good salespeople. So we struggle with getting sponsors and having them stick around. Uh, Neither of us are good with the algorithm manipulation. So we're not good with making thumbnails. We're not good with playing the clickbait headlines title kind of game. We're not good at baseball analysis, let's be honest. But here we are. We're authentic. We're baseball fans. And we couldn't do it without you guys. So we are doing this modification to our new schedule. The new schedule, as far as the free stuff goes, looks like this. Sunday night, you're getting long toss. Tuesday, you're getting the mailbag where we respond to your DMs, your questions, your comments, everything like that. And then Friday, we got the news show. That is our flagship show, the show we've been doing now for going on 4 years. Um, that's all going to stick around. Everything else, the daily, it's just can't do it anymore. So we are going to continue to do daily content, but half of it is going to be behind the paywall. Unfortunately, I know. Get your gripes in, and I guess I'm talking like I am just going to release this publicly. So hey, there you go. I guess I've talked myself into it. Myself, multiple me's, all my personalities. Anyways, Monday MLB show. This is it. We could tweak the format as we go. Drop your comments on this post in Patreon. I do appreciate the feedback. Look, I want you guys, you girls, to be satisfied with your hard work, your hard-earned dollars coming in. So whatever you want to see out of this MLB Monday show, suggest as topics over the weekend. If you see a headline and you want our thoughts on it, shoot us a message, shoot us a DM, um, post on the wall for the Patreon. Let us know. You're like, hey, Shohei Otani just did something remarkable. Can you guys talk about this on Monday? Yeah, let us know, and we'll definitely do it, especially in the early days until we start having a lot of feedback to filter through. But yeah, in the meantime, definitely get your topics in, and Scott and I will do our best to touch on everything. So MLB Monday mornings, every Monday morning, you guessed it. Reminder: uncensored, unqualified, unlicensed advice. Dear Walkoff, get your gripes in, and Scott and I will start hashing that stuff out with you folks. So appreciate it. We've also talked about doing like top 10 episodes. I don't know if that's something anybody's interested in. Could be baseball related, could be top 10 Blue Jays of all time, could be top 10 shortstops of all time, could be top 10 baseball stadiums, could be top 10 snack foods to eat while watching a Blue Jays game. Could be not baseball related at all. Could be top 10 flavors of chocolate bar. Could be top 10 episodes of The Office. Could be top 10 Marvel movies. Could be top 10. You know what? I think I've given you enough examples. Top 10 examples of top 10 lists. How's that? Hey, we did it. We found it. Okay, there it is. I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate your time this morning. Blue Jays off to Fenway. Should be a good series. Thanks, everybody. Cheers and good day.